I'm going to create a simple part, but the sketch is in the wrong plane. So you got to remember to exit out and do this correctly with the in-work object set. Again, that was using the define in-work object by doing a right click on the part by to get your contextual menu to pick this. When this is underlined, then it's safe to go into your sketch environment. And I'm going to just slide this down here and zoom out a little bit, give myself some space. I'm going to do some work here. I am going to open up the part body and open up the sketch. You can see that there's nothing in the sketch yet. As soon as I create a rectangle on this point and then slide over here, it will create 4 lines and only 3 points. H and B are parallel to the horizontal vertical axis, but I should have 4 points. And the reason why I don't have 4 points is because I created on that axis. And I'm going to warn you now, sometimes it doesn't like it. I can only move this way. Oh, shoot. Okay, I can't move any other way. This corner is completely locked up. The only way to unlock that corner is to delete that, so that's not locked in anymore. That's why I don't work on the axis system. All right, so I'm going to highlight this. I'm just going to create a simple part, and I'm going to do it off the axis system. Well, I'll just do that rectangle again. You notice when I create the rectangle, I have 4 points and 4 lines. Whereas, again, the other way, you create the rectangle, you only have these points. The initial point is locked to that axis, so you're stuck. So again, you'll notice when I create the axis system off the part, the first thing it generates is point number 4. And then I create the 4 lines, and then it creates the points afterwards. I'd kind of like it to see it do the other way, but that's how it does it. So you got your initial point, your 4 lines, your 3 points, okay? Now the reason why I do it this way is I'm going to auto constrain it before I get it to the axis. So I go to auto constrain, highlight the profile and say okay, and then I lock it to the axis. So there's a command here called contact, and you contact the H and the bottom line. And you contact the vertical line and this to the vertical axis, and you'll notice under constraints, this is your datum A and this is your datum B. I always create datum A first and then datum B just because I like it to be built in chronological order. It has no bearing on how the part is affected. Okay, I just do it that way because I like it that way. All right, so the last thing I do is establish datums. Those should be on the very bottom. Okay, I'm going to undo this and we'll do it again. Well, actually, your favorite command should be the delete command. You highlight everything and hit delete. That should be the one thing you've mastered by now. I'm going to go to a profile and I'm going to create a slightly more complex part, just slightly. Okay, and as soon as I hit the endpoint, it closes it and leaves it highlighted. With that profile highlighted, as soon as I go to auto constraint, it's already got all the elements already highlighted. So it's just there for you. Under reference element, I can click on this. Again, I like to pick my datum A first and my datum B. I establish those 2 lines as my datums, and we do stack dimension. I select OK. One thing I wish it would do better is spread this out nicer, but it's done. And I don't like to do a whole lot of stuff like moving stuff around because it's real easy to accidentally grab that line and move it. So the very next thing I do right away before I change any values or start making it pretty, I go right to the contact mode. I just double click it to keep it active so I can go from this datum A down to here, and it adds the datum coincident here, this one here, over to here. That's how you lock it to the local axis system. So this part is built on the local axis system. All I have to do now is turn off the contact constraint and go to properties and rename this to datum A. Remember to put your dashes in there. And then again, if you hit the up arrow, it usually remembers what you typed in last. There's datum B in there. I typed that in. So again, the up and down arrows on the keyboard oftentimes allow you to go back and review what you've already picked. This dimension should be a 1/2 inch off the part. This dimension should be 3/4 of an inch away from the other one. So right about in the middle is close enough. And then this dimension, I move it a 1/2 inch off the part as well. And that's plenty good. Sometimes that's not enough on the actual drawing. But we're supposed to have this look nice, like it's doing a drawing. And this is how that part should be done. So when I look at that part, it looks nice and clean. Whoever pulls this part up can easily read all the dimensions that are given. You can edit that and make prints of it and do whatever. A lot of times for the shop, we used to have to create all these dimensions. A lot of times all you have to do is create the sketch, go to AutoConstrain and print this for the shop because you're going to go do some R&D or something. So sometimes we don't always have a drawing. We're just building stuff on the fly and trying to make something work. All right, that's the first setup on how to create the part to the local axis.